Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your March 1st to the 15th, 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also to subscribe to my channel. And if you would like to be notified whenever I upload new videos, and I upload all the time, just hit the bell notification button. And if you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Excuse me. Now, before we begin this reading and clear the energy space, once again, a reminder not to be scammed by anybody in the comment box pretending to be me offering you a reading. That person is a scammer. Do not be scammed. I will not be soliciting you for anything ever, okay? So now let's clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as you enter into this safe and loving space. Now let's let the bull sing as we see what the tarot has to say. Aries, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Oh, perfect. Okay, let's see what your chakra energy has to say for this time. Aries, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. So we're starting here with the Earth Star Chakra with Rebirth, and we're going to go into these in depth in just a moment. Then we have Grounding, again the Earth Star Chakra, located 6 inches below your feet. And finally, we have Relationships, which is the Sacral Chakra. Now, the left-hand side here is your inner self. The middle is your heart, your emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So we have the Death card, strong Scorpio energy. Time frame is October 23rd to November 21st. The Nine of Cups, the Four of Coins, the Six of Wands. Then we have the Page of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. So very strong Scorpio energy. The Hanged Man, the Two of Wands, the Five of Wands, the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Cups. Oh, I love that. The Page of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and Judgment, that resurrection coming forward. So that's really cool. Now let's just look at the energy you need to be mindful of during this time. So now that we see with the chakra cards, with the tarot, everything that's going on, let's look at the people, not the people, but the energy that you have to be mindful of. So let's see here. What is the energy that Aries has to be mindful of? March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. What is the energy that Aries has to be mindful of? March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. Now, why I say energy instead of people is because if you have, like, let's say, Libra come up, okay, that's represented by justice. You can have somebody who's too into the rules coming up, and it might not be a Libra, but it can very well be somebody who's just going to be very regimented, very much like it has to be just like this. That's just an example that I'm kind of pulling out of the air right now. So just to know the type of personality traits that we need to be mindful of during this time to see, that they'll kind of go against the way that we're feeling about things, the way that we're thinking about things, and also just kind of rub us the wrong way during this time. So let's look here. All right, so we have Taurus energy, time frame April 20th to May 20th. This is a person who is very strong-willed, very stubborn, also can be very sensual, very, expressive, but they're kind of more towards the negative aspects of Taurus when we're looking at somebody to be mindful of. So it's like you have to do it this way or else. Then we have the Freyot, which is Sagittarius energy, November 22nd to December 21st. And I'll go into these in depth in just a moment. And then we have the Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. All right. So this is a person here, or this is an energy, and it can very well be a person where they have a very set point of views, and you're not going to be able to talk to them at all because they're not coming from a place of even wanting to converse. It's just kind of like, do what I say. This is what needs to be done. Get it done type of thing. And they're very inquisitive, and they do have a very sensual nature to them, but they're not letting it show. It can be something that's going on that's really suppressing it within them. But there is a sense here with the Hierophant. This is stubbornness. This is determination. This can be somebody who has a lot on their plate, and there's just a sense of get it done, stay focused, don't let anything get you off course. This is what needs to happen. This is where we need to go. And this is a great leader. This can be a great leader, but this can also become kind of tyrannical. So even if they're the most loving, open person, when they're in this mindset, it becomes like it has to be this way, and they're not letting people have room to express and to grow the way that they want to. So just know this, Aries, you don't like being told what to do. You don't mind giving your opinion at all, but there is the sense of sitting there and being like, well, why? It has to be fair. And if you don't see it as fair, it hurts you. It really does. It actually becomes something that really goes against your grain of being. So that's really going to come out with this energy right here of the Hierophant. And then we have the Freyot, which is Temperance. Now, this is a person who's usually balanced, but this is a person right now who an energy that is out of balance. This is a sense of looking at things and kind of going really deep into something. It's like researching, getting the answers, going really deep into one way of looking at things and not looking at the other side. So they can have this wonderful opinion, okay, of something, and they're well researched or really well versed in one area, but in the other area, it's just like nothing. So here, it's really looking at this and being like, okay, I know you're super passionate. I know that this is really important, but you need something more balanced. And this person isn't going to be balanced. It's going to be all one way or nothing at all. And they can get really mad if you challenge them. The Queen of Swords, air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is an energy that's cutting, that's like, this is my truth, this is what I need to do, this is my battle, this is how it needs to be, and there's not going to be any give. And so during this time, you have this sense of force coming against you. And what you're looking at with your chakra energy is this sense of really being reborn into your power. And you don't want to sit there and have yet another battle. I mean, who does? This has been such a trying time for so many. And so here you have the rebirth, and you also have the death card in the tarot. And so there is this strong sense of this dying away of the old self, this rebirth of the new, as you connect with the earth, as you connect with what you desire, as you look at things more openly and honestly for yourself, as you see the struggles that you've had inching along in your life, kind of like that caterpillar stage, inching along, trying to get there. And when you start to fly, you don't want to be held down. You want to soar. You want to go after what is important and vital for you. It brings you then to the grounding. It brings you to looking at the energy that you're planting yourself in. What are you feeding yourself with? You know, what is the energy that's being fed to you? How are you nourishing your soul and your body? It's time to take care of ourselves. It's time to sit there and say, I matter. And I matter beautifully and greatly and powerfully. And I'm embracing that truly and honestly. So as we do this, and as we make that declaration, you know, we get to be nourished, we get to be cared for, we get to uplift ourselves. It brings us to relationships, which is the sacral chakra, which is where a lot of negativity from this life and past lives are held. There's a sense of love coming in. There's a sense of beauty moving us forward. There is a sense of strengthening the relationships that we have, not only with others, but also with ourselves, and more importantly, with ourselves. Because when we stand in confidence within our hearts and souls and selves, then this becomes a beautiful springboard for which to jump off of. This becomes something that is empowering and emboldening and lets you face the world with confidence. And that's what you're doing. You're looking at kind of the shadows that have creeped around you, that have pulled you down over your life. And you're saying, why? Why do I get to stay and have to kind of do a mea culpa, I'm sorry, for something that was in the past, something that I get to release, something that now I get to strengthen the relationship that I have with myself. And it brings you to this place during this time frame of really looking at things and saying, I want more. Here we are looking for more. We want to be able to soar. We want to be able to release what has held us back and say, I am a new person. I am bold and I am courageous and I am powerful and I am going after what it is that I desire. Because Aries, that's what you're all about. The death card, people get very nervous with it, but it's a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new. It's a natural occurrence in life. We don't stay the same. We grow, we expand, we gain an understanding. And then when we look back at ourselves, sometimes it's with sorrow, sometimes it's with wonderment that we're not the same person that we were. And a lot of the times when we walk through fire, when we are being forged, when life is at its hardest, all right, there's a time where we step out of that world and we step out of that pain and we step out of that suffering and we look back and we think, my goodness, I can't believe I went through it. I can't believe I survived it. And now I'm going to thrive because of it, because I am so much stronger than I have ever been before. It's like making a sword. I really see it as our lives are like being forged like a sword. And if you're not forged properly, the sword shatters in its first battle. And a lot of times as we're growing and becoming, we shatter in our first battle. We shatter in our hurts and our pains and our disappointments, and we put ourselves back together. We get reforged time and time again. The death card is the walking between worlds, the conscious world and the subconscious world, the self that we show the world and the shadowed self that we don't want people to see that there's a monster living inside us. And if we don't see that there's a monster living inside every human being, then we're really at a disadvantage because there's an ignorance there. But to look at ourselves and say, yeah, there's ferocity. Yes, there's this beast within me, but I choose not to let it out. That makes us wise. That makes us powerful. And it brings us then to the Nine of Cups. It brings us to a place where we start to have our wishes granted, where we start to see what we need, what we desire, how we want to move forward, where we want to move forward to. It's very easy for people to see the Nine of Cups surrounding us, for people to see the blessings surrounding us, and for us to sit there and think, oh, that's just normal. No, this is the extraordinary. And this is what you're embracing. You're embracing this connection with the extraordinary. There's a sense of a job well done. There's a sense of things falling into alignment. Not everything. It doesn't mean that everything all of a sudden becomes rosy and wonderful. It means that things slowly and steadily become aligned. Things slowly and steadily become more powerful, more in tuned. Little things come together, and those little things matter a lot. And so here, it then brings you to the Four of Pentacles. And the Four of Pentacles are the hurts and the pains and the disappointments. The Four of Pentacles, for me, it is that vampiric energy. It's those leeches that sit there and say, I don't want you to transform. I don't want you to have blessings. I want you to be in a place where I can take your energy, where I can take your power, where you're burning the candle at both ends and not enjoying your life, just simply surviving. And the Four of Coins, this leech can be a person from our childhood where their voice stays in our heads. This could be a person that we fell madly in love with and we thought, wow, this is what it's supposed to be, right? But then everything went sour. And we trusted and they hurt us in a way that we never could have imagined. These are the people who have low energy vibration. Okay? These are the people who are just in it to survive, not to thrive, not to excel, but to survive, to make it in a way that shows the world that they are the most successful, not to actually be the most successful. And so there's this base energy vibration that wants to pull you down. If you're here, if you've stumbled across this channel, if you're part of this family, you want a higher energy vibration, and that's what you're going after. You're going after an empowerment. You're going after an emboldening of self. And so to be constantly pulled back down, that's unacceptable. Because it's like, it's nothing you're doing. It's the memories in your heads. It's the hurt in your heads, in your one head, in your head. It's the hurt in the heart. And so here what we're looking at is we're looking at those memories. We're looking at those hurts. And we're saying, no, you don't get to rule me anymore. I get to claim this power. And it's a purge. It's really sitting there and purging out the venom that has been put in you. And that purge, it can be so hard, and it can take years. You might be sitting there and say, Dane, this has been going on forever. When is it going to be my time? Just remember, the more you put into the vortex, the more you put into the universe what you don't want, the more you will get what you do want. It isn't like, though, that big payday. I remember I was talking to one of my brothers, and I said to him, well, you put into the universe what you don't want. You put into the vortex what you don't want, and then you get what you do. And he's like, yes, I'm going to have this huge payday. When I get what I want, it's going to be, kind of like mansions and Ferraris type of thing. And I laughed. I was like, well, that's not how it works. It goes slowly. And he's like, I have to go through all this suffering to slowly and steadily have the firm foundation that I want. And I was like, yes, that's exactly what it is. He thought that was unfair, but it makes sense. And he said it made sense. He was like, okay, I can see it. So here, we want that big payday right away. We really do. We want that, all of a sudden, everything's coming together. But it happens more slowly. And it's when we sit there and we purge out the venom within us. And it can be through tears. It can be through, journaling. It can be through talking to somebody and releasing it. And it brings us then to being the victors of our lives. The Wands, the Six of Wands, that is celebration, that is beauty, that is victory, that is learning how to celebrate yourself. And it's really hard. I know it sounds funny to say it's really hard to learn how to celebrate yourself. But if you're like me, I was raised with the statement, self-praise stinks. And, my whole family was. That's just, my mom was raised like that, my grandma, and that was just how it was. You sat there and you didn't put on airs. You were supposed to be humble and kind and looking at the bigger picture of things. But you know what? Self-praise is important. It builds you up. It moves you forward. It's like, I did a really good job, and I get to celebrate that. I conquered a fear, and I get to celebrate that. Somebody might not see that, might not even notice that that was a big deal for you, but you know, and you get to celebrate that within you. So here it's the power, it's the beauty, it's the dedication of moving forward. I always equate the Six of Wands to that really good boss that makes you want to work harder and longer. Whereas if you have the person, the boss, that is really bad, we don't want to work for that boss. I mean, that's the boss where you sit there and you're like, you see them walk through the door and you just go and scurry to do something else. Or you go, oh no, they're here again. And it doesn't make you want to thrive. It makes you coast and want to hide. And that's not okay for our lives. Here it is the thriving. It is the sitting there. It's the challenging of the self. It is the moving forward. It's the going after what we need and what we want. And it brings us to, with the crown of our hearts, being the student of our hearts. Here we are looking at what emotionally fulfills us, what brings us joy, what brings us laughter, what brings us happiness. And it's like, it's just letting the laughter in. And you might sit there and say, Dane, I have nothing to laugh about. Look at the state of the world. Look at everything that's going on. True. True. If you let all of that come in, it can absolutely crush your spirit. But here, with the Page of Cups, it's looking at laughter. And it's saying, I need this. Because even in the darkest hour, there needs to be a smile. There needs to be a laugh. There needs to be beauty. Or else, what is it all for? Just one drudgery after another. That's not how we're meant to live. We're meant to connect. We're meant to come together. We're meant to have so much more beauty around us than we could have imagined. And the Page of Cups is saying this. The Page of Cups is saying, be a student of your heart. Be like a little child and sit and laugh. Put on a video that makes you laugh. Read a book that makes you chuckle. Do something. I just keep on seeing a little kid spinning, like little children do, and just laughing and laughing and laughing. Even do laughing meditation, where you just sit down and you just laugh. You just let the laughter become a part of you. And at first, you start off, at least this is me, you start off terribly self-conscious, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous. And then you let that sound wave, you let that energy vibration of happiness and joy become a part of you, and you start to have your mind go to happy things. And you start to become a student of that joy, of that love, of that connection with your heart, of that spark, and it raises you. It raises your energy. It brings you forward into your truth. And it has you seeing things so differently. Why? Well, because it's important. We're not all supposed to be the same. I know our world would like us to be. But we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to question and look and seek and desire and dive deeper into things. The Hanged Man does not see things the same way as everybody else. And he does not apologize for not seeing things the same way. He says, this is me. This is who I am. It's different. I'm different, but I'm okay with that. We're different. Let us be okay with it. Instead of always thinking, oh my gosh, I'm wrong. I don't see things like everybody else. Oh my gosh, I'm wrong. I am not doing things the same way as everybody else. Oh my gosh, I'm wrong. I don't fit in like everybody else. Oh my gosh, I'm wrong. I mean, I know personally I carried that guilt with me for so long. It's like I didn't fit in. But sometimes you're meant to stand out. You're meant to be different. Because even when you try to fit in, it doesn't work. There's always going to be a little bit of a different tune about you. The music is just slightly different that you dance to, that you live to, than everybody else. The Hanged Man is you looking at things differently and powerfully and personally, and embracing that truth and that power. And not saying, oh, my heart is wrong. It's like, my heart is different. My heart is strong. My heart is powerful. And I am opening to my heart. And it brings you, as you see things differently, it brings you to the world opening. It's like, I can do this, can't I? I can move forward this way. And in your emotional self right here, in your heart self, it's like, I can do this. I can be who I want to be. I can move in the way that I want to move. I can go after what I want to go after. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, this is the person holding the world in their hands, looking outward. They become big in the eyes of the world. in the eyes of their world. It's like there is more here than what I had originally thought, than what I had originally desired. I can move forward in this way, in this teaching, in this truth, in this power. And that is an absolute yes. The Two of Wands guides you towards more. And the Two of Wands, instead of having you look out into the world and say, oh my goodness, it's so much, and I know all my flaws, and everybody has to be way more talented than I ever am. It's like, no, that's not true at all. These are my powers. These are my truths. These are my blessings. I get to move forward. I get to find my way. Yes, and there has been stumbling and falling. We all do that. But yet there is also light and understanding, truth and guidance. And it brings you to the Five of Wands. It brings you to looking at your root, which is chaos, which is chaos for simply the sake of chaos. It's the internal chaos, the doubts, the fears, the angers, the upsets, the upheaval. It's the external chaos where everybody's bickering with each other and it feels like, oh my gosh, I need to take a side. Oh my gosh, I need to, get involved in this. And when it's really true that we just need to stand in our truths, in ourselves. And so with the Five of Wands, it's looking internally and it's saying, okay, I see the chaos. I see where I feel like I should clone myself, where I need to do 18 million different things and all at once and just perfectly. I see where I am frustrated. I see where I am overwhelmed. I see where I am tired. I see all of this. And I understand. And so I step back and I step into myself. And it's kind of like breaking things down into bite-sized pieces. It's like, okay, I can do this one thing. And even if that's the only thing we do that day, that's fine. If it's the only thing we do one thing just super well. And then we take care of ourselves and we say, okay, next thing tomorrow. We start to build ourselves up to more and more and more. That's better. And we get to that point where it's like, this is our comfort point. It's kind of like, wait, right? Everybody wants to be super skinny, but not everybody's body wants to be super skinny. We have this point where our bodies are happy. It's like, leave me alone, I'm really good here. And yet we want to starve ourselves more and more and more. And it's like we're putting on burdens, like handling everything. We just need to be superheroes, more and more and more. There has to be a time where we look at ourselves and say, this is me. This is enough. This is okay. I don't get everybody dictating to me what I should do. I don't have to follow this, atypical model of who you should be and how you should be. I get to live my life. And I get to do it in joy and prosperity and success. And I don't get to be pulled into everybody's chaos. Because during this time, because you are a student of so much, you're taking so much in, you're learning, you're seeing the different sides of the story. It's very much the Taoist sentiment of this and that are true, which confused me for the longest time, because it's like you can have this opinion and you can have that opinion, or you can have this opinion and somebody else can have that opinion, and you both get to live your truths. It's like I get to be me, no matter how much I am like anybody else. Like, let's just say one of my brothers, I'll never be my brother, ever, and my brother will never be me, and that's just fact. We see things differently, and so within the heart, that's very much what it's saying. I get to be me. I get to see things in my way, in my understanding. I get to open up the world to me in the way that my soul needs it, not in the way that you're supposed to be like this, conform. And there will be a battle, because whenever you're sitting there, you're raising your energy vibration, you're chugging along in your life, like a little train, sitting there and saying, yes, I can. And you're going to have people want to pull you back, want to say, no, but you're supposed to be like this person. You're supposed to be like this model. You're supposed to do this. And if it's not you, why would you do it? Why would you do it? Sometimes I think our world spends so much time taking, square pegs and breaking them down until they can fit into a round hole, until they can just give up and say, okay, fine, you win. It's like, no, you don't win. I get to be me. And then you're crowned here with the Seven of Wands. You're picking your battles. In the public arena, it's very important, Aries, that you pick your battles, because you're represented by Aries, the god of war, okay, in Greek mythology. You are a mastermind at strategy, of looking at things, putting things together, of saying, this is what I fight for. And if we're not careful with Aries, we can we can get totally caught up in the fight. We can get totally caught up in the, well, I'll show you, and I'll do what others can't, and I'll keep on moving forward. And here it's like, no, pick your battles wisely. Figure out what's truly important to you and stand in that truth and say, this is the fight that I fight. Like, this is what I stand on. This is the truth where I stand. And I will not be cut down by anybody else, have my energy drained because I'm going to fight all the battles and win them all by myself. It's like, no, I stand in my truth and I let the ignorance of people go. I don't need to convert them. I don't need them to understand like I understand. They can just be. Whether they decide to be idiots or not, that's totally up to them. But I get to be me. And I get to fight the battles that are important to me, to stand in my truth, to stand in my integrity. But I also don't have to fight them all. And this is going to be really important during this time, because during this time when, you're having this transformation come in, when you're purging, it's like going through a detox. Okay? When you go through a detox, there comes a point where your body gets tired, like all this bad stuff within you is dying off, and you're like, ugh, I don't feel good. And it makes you testy. It's brilliant for everybody around you, right? And it makes you testy, and it makes you sit there and be like, all right, I'm going to fight every battle because everybody's like super annoying me. But we have to sit there and say, okay, everybody's super annoying me, but I still hold on to my truth. And I can remove myself from the situation. I can step back. I can, start to meditate. I can just start to, quietly practice breathing through my nose, centering myself, and embracing that power. And then it moves us to the 10 of Cups. It moves us to this place of happiness, because nobody gets to define our happiness for us. We have the 10 of Cups, happiness, success, prosperity, bounty, and they all live happily ever after. Sentiment. And yet we all think that happily ever after is supposed to be one way. It's all supposed to be the Cinderella story. Well, some of us never want the Cinderella story. This is our own personal, private, beautiful happiness. For some, it's living in the city. For others, it's living in the country. For some, it's children. For others, it's not. And here, it's like everybody gets to pick their path. Everybody gets to embrace their truth. And so when you look at your happiness, when you look at what makes your heart sing, and it can be having a vegetable garden, it can be, going hiking. It can be doing whatever it is that brings you joy. This is saying make time for it. Let it into your life, because it changes your life. It moves you forward. It guides you in a way that it's like, oh, this is my North Star. This is what I fight for. This is my truth. And in the public arena, for one reason or another, there's this sense of, you don't get to do this. Like, you have to be just the way that I want you to be. You have to, move forward just the way that I want you to move forward. And it's the proverbial I, it can be the societal I, and I just see it kind of being like the I in Lord of the Rings, which I'm totally forgetting its name, but it just like watches over you. And it becomes evil, because it's not your truth. Oh, no, completely went out of my head. If you know it, put it in the description box below. That'd be awesome. Not description box, comment box. And here, there's a sense of learning how to fall in love. Learning how to fall in love with what you want. You have wishes, you see things differently, love comes. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's like finding somebody comes your way, or just the opening up of your heart and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm ready for this chapter of my life, if you're single, or if you're looking for somebody. But there's this sense of letting the love in. And it also works for jobs. It works for, the relationships that we have already. It's like, I'm calling in love, and the love comes, and the power comes, and the beauty comes. And I see where I need to stand. I see what it is that I desire. And it moves you to the Page of Swords. It moves you to being a student of your ideas, of being a student of where you stand. Also very much being a student of your breath, how you breathe in a situation, how you stand and present yourself in a situation that is going to be so terribly powerful for you. And this is embracing your truth, your understanding, your dedication, your determination. It's like, I cut through all the nonsense to see how it is that I need to move forward, to see what it is that I need to guide me to the place that is opening up my eyes. We become the student because we learn. And this is taking in the knowledge. It's embracing the breath. It is being in that moment. It's closing the mouth, breathing through the nose if you can, and just sitting there in that power, or standing, or whatever you are doing. It's being able to be in that moment. And as you embrace that moment, you embrace your truth and your power and your understanding. So if you even wanted to do a small meditation right now, where you just kind of rest your hands down on the desk or on your legs, or you just become aware of your hands. Close your eyes if you can. If it's not safe, don't do that. And just breathe through your nose. Just let the air come in. Yourself becoming centered and calm as you embrace this truth, as you embrace the power of your breath, as you embrace the power of your heartbeat, as you start to become aware of your body and what your soul needs. This is what you become a student of. You become a student of your air, of the air that fills your lungs, the air that powers your voice, the air that moves you forward. And it brings you to judgment. It brings you to a rising up out of the darkness. It's like the phoenix rising from the ashes. And I know people sit there and say, Dane, I don't want to be rising from the ashes. I don't want the ashes. Every time we rise out of bed, we rise from the ashes of sleep. So we are always rising from the ashes. We're always changed. Just a little bit, all the time. Change to move forward. Change to embrace this world more. Change to have a greater understanding. And with this judgment, it is a sense of looking at everything that you have been through, everything that you have overcome, every twist and turn along the way, and rising into your power and sitting there and saying, this is me. This is who I was meant to be. So we have this as a time of transformation, as a time of reclaiming. Because we start with the death card, we end with judgment. So it is like the resurrection of self, which is absolutely beautiful. Let's see, as we go deeper. Aries, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels. Oh, okay. Angels and spirit guides. Fantastic. We have here Justice, Libra energy. Time frame is September 23rd to October 22nd. You have the Hierophant, and you have the Knight of Coins. So this is the, of course, Knight of Pentacles, Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have the Page of Coins. Yeah. The Two of Wands, over the Two of Wands. Wow. Okay. And the Ten of Wands. Interesting. The Three of Coins. The Queen of Cups, water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. And the Chariot, so strong Cancer energy here. Time frame June 21st to July 22nd. And I love the Aesop fable look of the cards. So here we go. We start off with Justice. And this is a sense of being judged. So here, there's this resurrection, and there's this beauty of power that comes after what has felt like a judgment, okay? What has felt like somebody really decreeing something over you and lording lording, there we go, it over you. And so here you're stepping into this power, you're stepping into this truth, you're gaining this understanding. It's like, because you know what it's like to be judged. And what you're doing here is, instead of embracing judgment like in a courtroom, you're looking at things and being discerning and saying, what energy do I want to be part of my life? How do I want things to move forward? What is it that I desire? I was always very confused with judgment for quite some time, because I always thought, okay, it's like the courtrooms, right? And that never really rang as true to me as discernment does. Discernment and sitting there and saying, you don't get to judge my life. And also, I don't have to accept everybody. And I know that's not a popular thing to say, but when you sit there and you're like, oh no, I'll just take it all on. I'll just help everybody. There's nothing I wouldn't do, right? And then you wind up getting used and abused, and you feel drained and you feel overwhelmed, and you're surrounded by people that you don't like, that don't vibrate at the same energy level that you want, that make you feel, just questioning your whole entire life. And so that's the time where you need to sit there and step back and be like, oh, oh, I get to choose. I get to choose who I let in. I get to choose how I let things in. I get to choose my power forward. And that's what you're doing here after being judged, after having people, sit there and kind of throw the stones at you. You look at the world and say, pretty much, you without sin, cast the first stone. Like, if you've never made a mistake, then sure, I'll listen to you. But if you have, I get to embrace the energy, the power that is right for me. And it moves you to the Hierophant. It moves you to claim this power. It's interesting because you have a very positive Hierophant. You have a not so positive Hierophant. So here it is standing on the pulpit of your beliefs, of what you desire, and say, this is me. And we have this over the Four of Pentacles. There we go. The Four of Pentacles. And so as you're standing in your belief and you're saying, this is who I am. These are my core values. This is what I absolutely desire. This is how I need to move forward. It redefines everything, because it's like you're taking back your power, and you're taking it from the leechers, from the angry people, and you're saying, this is me. This is who I need to be. And it brings you then to being a knight of your prosperity, to being a defender of your prosperity as you move forward in your bounty, as you move forward in your abundance, as you sit there and start to celebrate yourself. You look at what it is that you're planting within your garden. And that's how I love to look at the coins. I love to look at it as a person who is planting their prosperity, embracing their abundance. Because so often if we have just money, if we just think of the coins as money, it's an abstraction, but it's also something we don't have to worry about. It just sits in our wallets, right? But if you have to have a garden, or if you have a garden, that needs tending. You need to weed the garden. You need to water the garden. You need to care for the garden. And that's what we need to do with the prosperity that is handed to us. We need to care for it as it cares for us. So it's here as we move forward in this positivity of self, in this sitting there and saying, good job, keep on going. This is awesome. I'm not a failure, which is so important for us to hear, because so often we just pile everything on ourselves and say, oh, well, I haven't done everything perfectly, or I made mistakes in the past. I don't get redemption. I don't get to walk in my glory. It's like, no, yes, you do. And you become a pioneer of that. It's like you become the person who plants these seeds, who nurtures them, who watches them grow, and who sits there and says, this gets to be my life. And we also start to look and see, is our garden filled with poison? Are we replanting the negativity, the anger, the hurt, the despair of others? Are we looking at things and just taking the sorrowful points of life and having them try to nourish our souls, but not being any nourishment at all? So it's time to start within ourselves, to plant the vegetables, to plant the fruit, to plant the beautiful flowers. And it's also time to look to see where in our life, we're really tending that garden, making everything beautiful, and where we've let everything else go. Because sometimes it's just easier. It's like, oh, I can do this, but this is way too hard, And then it moves us here to the Page of Coins, to being the student of prosperity, as you are the student of your heart, as you are seeing things differently. It's like, how can I have my wealth move forward? How can I make my life work for me? How can I step into my power? How can I go after my truth? This is working hard. The Knight of Coins and the Page of Coins, it's not like overnight success. It is sitting there and it is saying hard work, dedication, durability. I move forward in it. I move forward in my truth, in my abundance, in what I want from my life. And I go forward, with this tenacity of self. And it really is nurturing those seeds, nurturing what it is that you want within your life, and saying to the rest of the world, I don't care if you don't see what I see it, and I see it powerfully. And it moves you then to the Two of Wands. Over the Two of Wands, it moves you to seeing the earth open up in a way that you didn't think it would, or you didn't think it could. And so the world opens up for you, and you put down your burdens. You put down the hurts, the pains, the disappointments. You stop being the workhorse, right? And you don't go from one extreme to the other, from the workhorse to the lazy person. It's like you are smarter. You work smarter, not harder. You look at things and you sit there and you say, this is what I need. This is what I'm going after. This is what I desire. This is what I'm moving towards. And it's taking all the burdens that we carry, that we pull with us, and saying to other people, you know what, you have to do your job too. You have to start pulling your weight, taking responsibility for things, going after your goals. I can't do it all for you. At work, at home, it's like, I need to stop the chaos. And by stopping the chaos, it is stopping taking everything on ourselves, stopping blaming ourselves for not doing everything perfectly, and sitting there and lighting the banner of our truth and saying, these are my dreams. This is what I desire. This becomes my barn fire of truth and power. And it moves you then to the Three of Coins. It moves you to prosperity coming. It moves you to, yes, people wanting to take credit for your hard work, but it moves you to sitting there and saying, this is me. This is what I've made of my life. This is what I desire. This is how I'm moving forward. I'm defending what needs to be defended, and I'm not getting into the nonsense. And I'm letting love guide me. I'm letting my hard work illuminate my path. And it brings us to the Queen of Cups. It brings us to being a queen of what we love. As we are a student of our minds, we are now the queen of our hearts. And we're embracing our mind and our heart coming together. This conversation, this open flow of being, this truth, this power, this tenacity. And it's opening up our world in a very beautiful way. It's sitting there and saying, I am drinking deeply of the cup of my truth. And I'm embracing my truth in such a profound and powerful way. I'm looking at things and I'm opening up my heart to it. Now, this can make us a bit sensitive when it comes to the public arena, because we're giving our all, we're working so hard, and yet people will still want to kind of knock us down. Don't let their negativity define you at all. Stand in your truth. Know what it is that you desire. Have your water offered up. Have the total essence of you. We're made of water. We're made so much of water that it's so important. And so here it's like offering up that drink, that vital liquid of truth to what you desire in life, to where you need to be, to how you're moving forward, and letting that emotion guide you. And it brings you to the Chariot. As you rise in judgment, you find that you're a lot stronger than you thought you were. There's a lot more beauty here. There's a lot more power here than you could ever have realized. And the Chariot is usually overlooked because we don't remember that charioteers were kings and queens, emperors, empresses, pharaohs, and generals of the world, of the ancient world. It took great skill to ride and to drive a chariot. It takes great skill to live life well and to move forward in that beautiful, tenacious truth. Let's look at your spirit animal message for this time. Aries, March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. March 1st to the 15th, 2021, Aries. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. angels, and spirit guides. Fantastic. So we have the fox spirit. It says, think on your feet. Because life comes at you fast and there's a lot going on. Think on your feet. Because you're going to find that, Aries, you make pretty good decisions when it's like, okay, I have to act right now. Like I have to figure it out. You think on your feet well. Don't be rash and hasty and go to things and change things out of anger. Think on your feet, take things in, and move forward in your truth. It moves you then to the outer spirit, which says you are never alone. You're connected with love. This is also go with the flow. Let life take you on its fantastic journey and see where it takes you. See how you develop because of it. It brings you then to the dear spirit. Bring a gentle touch. The world needs a gentle touch. Everybody's so busy yelling at everybody else. Bring a gentle touch. Stand in your heart. Stand in your truth. Stand in your love. It moves you to your subconscious spirit animal message, which is the wasp spirit. Sometimes life stings. This is one of my favorite cards because it's honest. Sometimes life stings. Sometimes, like one of my brothers got a wasp caught under his glasses when he was younger. Now he's terribly afraid of them. Sometimes life just sends you something and it terrifies you. It gets trapped within you. It stings you and it hurts and it's overwhelming. And it's like, yeah, sometimes life absolutely stinks and it's not fair. And there's no reason for it not to be fair, except for the fact that sometimes, excuse my language, but shit happens. And sometimes that is us sitting open mouth, watching our world fall apart, watching everything change. But if we know that each period in our life, like we go through seasons, and we need to embrace our truth and our understanding, our insights and our ideas. Because if we let the sting take away our wonderment for the world, then we'll be too afraid to do anything ever again. It moves you to your subconscious person message, which is the Princess of Pentacles. Be a student of your prosperity, of your money, of what you're planting in your world, of how you want to move forward. It brings you then to your subconscious chakra message, which is the inner child, the heart chakra. Connect with your inner child. Hold your arms open to your inner child and let that child speak to you. Children hold wisdom that we seldom imagine, and they also speak powerful, beautiful truth if we listen. Listen to what that inner child has to say, and let that child feel loved and protected in a way you might never have felt loved and protected when you were small. It moves you to your subconscious tarot message, which is the Three of Cups. For me, the Three of Cups are those people who are supposed to raise their glass to us, who are supposed to celebrate us, and just couldn't. And it scars, because they were supposed to be on our side. They were supposed to be the ones that were there. That was their job. That's what they were supposed to be. Parents, guardians, people who raised us, our caretakers, our friends, lovers. They just couldn't be what we needed. And it's devastating. It is devastating. And it doesn't matter how old you are, the age that the betrayal comes, that the betrayal came, is heartbreaking. The Three of Cups is looking at things and it's seeing your worth, it's seeing your power in a profound and exquisite way. Because it's understanding that sometimes people are just in it for themselves, even when they shouldn't be. So there has to be this powerful drive between you and divinity to move you forward in a way you can hardly imagine and to strengthen you against the pitfalls of life. Subconsciously, you're going to sit there and be like, okay, when's the next shoe going to drop? How is everything going to, just fall apart? We go deeper into that subconscious, and we have the Page of Wands, We have you being a student. You've learned so much from the pain, because that's how we learn. And you've learned from the pain. And what you're doing now is being a student of your passion, being a student of the way you move forward, being a student of what you want, and knowing and having learned that you can really powerfully rely on you in a way that you hadn't expected. But it's opening up your mind. It's opening up your ideas. It's walking down paths that you didn't think you could walk down. And it's like, I can do this. I can embrace the world that I am creating. All right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I am sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we release the burdens that have held us back for too long, and embrace the passions and the beauties of our truth, no longer bullied by a world that doesn't understand. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries.